your one piece of advice on graduation day, what would it be?
whatcollegeforgot.com.
Okay. What is something you did frequently right after college that you're kind of embarrassed to admit?
I don't think college stopped for most of us after we graduated college. So I think that the hours we kept and the activities we continued on was a little embarrassing. But I learned how to use a boom. So that was good.
What are some ways that you're furthering your personal development?
One of the biggest things actually is I talk to people I know that I have a lot of respect for, people that have really gotten their personal finances together, people that understand a lot about education, healthcare, whatever I'm looking to learn about, and I try to keep up with them, ask a lot of questions, and in order to make myself more versed in what they're talking about ahead of time, I do a lot of reading. I try to diversify where I get information from and then come to them to clarify with questions.
Very good. I think that's good. Define what a personal brand is.
Basically, I'm sitting right here. And when I'm sitting right here, I'm looking at this camera. I'm basically projecting a personal brand to you. But on the other hand, I think the problem is I'm projecting this brand for you, but I don't necessarily know what it is. I don't necessarily know what it stands for. And unfortunately, like many people in my generation, I don't really have a fully developed concept as to how to market myself. Like when I hear the term like personal brand, I kind of like think like personality and brand, they're mutually exclusive. When you think about it, brands do convey a type of personality. They're aimed at certain types of people. And people, they, whether they admit it or not, they market themselves to different types of people, to different types of causes, to different types of career paths, and different types of change when it comes to the future and how we're going to change the world. So really, that's my convoluted definition of a personal brand.
You most like others to say about your personal life?
Well, basically, like a lot of Christians, I'm a sinner. Scratch that. But anyway, like what I'd like to say is that basically, I may like do some things that I'm not proud of. Not any like criminal. Okay. Polite, original, and analytical.
Okay. Do you work with anyone that is a lot older than you are?
Yes, I do, actually.
And is there anything that you wish that they would understand about your generation?
Basically, we have like very different expectations of the world. We like to make our own rules. We are rather weary of tradition, and we don't like necessarily understand, or if we do understand, we don't necessarily abide by the concept of a linear time frame as far as like the day goes. Like for example, like we'll get in at like 9 a.m. and we'll like maybe like fool around like talking to each other for a couple of hours, and then like when like we're in the right state of mind, like then like that's when we get our work done, maybe like from 12 to 3. Then like we'll take a break, hang out some more, and then like maybe from 6 to 9, like once again like we're in the right like state of mind to get our work done. So it's not like the conventional like 9 to 5 workday that used to be. And with that like comes a kind of like change in like thought process. I think like a lot of the baby boomers, they're like very much like used to this whole like straightforward like 9 to 5 day. And I think what the whole like 9 to 5 clock in clock out kind of day symbolizes, as far as like how the baby boomers are taking in the world. They take in the world as though, like, I come in, I have this job. Just as long as I'm a hard worker, this job is going to be secure. Well, the problem with that is, in this economy, in this age where it's basically concept over knowledge, you could be a really hard worker. You could be really loyal. But if you don't have the right skills to advance that company forward, you could be like the best quote-unquote employee. You come in, you're punctual, but, the boss is not necessarily going to want to keep you. It's going to, like, prefer somebody who is more flexible, who can work under a variety of different circumstances, who walks into a novel situation, and they are able to take the knowledge that they already know and relay it to that new situation and come up with something like a whole new product or a whole new design or a whole new outlook on the world, which is going to advance that company. So I think, like, that's what baby boomers need to understand. Something else that they need to understand is that our generation, we have a very different definition of politeness. We the conventional, like, hi, how are you? That's still valid, but we still value politeness, but it's not like just, oh, that looks really nice from you. Oh, you did a good job. It's the politeness in our eyes is responding to subtle social cues. It's knowing when you're wanted and when you aren't wanted, and just reacting accordingly. So our generation, the way we take in the world, in a lot of ways, it's not so straightforward. So that's my take on that.
A job that is hard to believe even happened. Anything funny that happened while at your job? If not, that's okay.
No.
No. Okay. Do you look at any of your friends and wonder how they graduated from college?
Actually, I'm wondering how I'm going to graduate from college.
What makes you think that way?
Well, basically, when I was in high school, I was like a very diligent student, got my work done. I was basically, if I don't do this, I'm not going to get into college. Now that I'm in college, and everything's just so, like, laid back as far as, like, when you turn your assignments in, suddenly I'm like a fish out of water. I don't really have that structure to really maintain my focus. And so, like, I get into, like, things I enjoy, like drawing, reading the stuff I want to read. But at the same time, I kind of, like, lose track of the big picture because I'm in college. I'm in college for, like, 4 years at least, if not more. And I don't know what to do with my life. First I was a theater major, then I'm a psychology major, now I'm an English major. And even with the English, I'm like, am I really going to make a living doing that stuff, And so basically what happens is that freedom, it kind of, like, while it does, like, increase my outlook on the world, it kind of, like, decreases my motivation. And I think, like, that could be true for, like, a vast majority of my generation. We have, like, all this freedom. We have the internet, which exposes us to so many different ideas. And with that exposure to new ideas does come new ideas of our own, but it also, like, decreases in a way, or helps to decrease, like, our, like, awareness of what needs to get done now. And I think if we could find a way to, like, balance that, like, desire for novelty with that focus of, okay, like, what needs to be done now, I think the whole world would be a better place. And I think, like, this economy wouldn't be in the mess that it's in, even. Basically, find a computer, go online, type in the website www.whatcollegeforgot, unedited.com